Hi to you all, and welcome back for the first vlog for 2021. So it's bitterly cold today, and I've decided to come up to the airfield to have a look around. There's been a handsome looking male Merlin up here. The back of it is just so bluey, sort of gunmetal. I don't think I've ever seen such a great looking male one before, and I got a few shots of it at distance, but unfortunately it's so twitchy. Even if I'm 1,000 yards, 800 yards from it, it's just gone every time. So it's notoriously difficult even in a vehicle. So I'm kind of on 800 acres of land here on the airfield, and yeah, it's a bit of a needle in a haystack. I just flushed it a moment ago along the runway. It sort of tucks in along the fringes of the runway, so really nice to see it, but it's just trying to get a picture of it. It's going to be pretty damn difficult today, but I'm certainly going to do my best. I've got the Canon 600 with the 1DX2, and I've got the 5DSR with a crop sensor on it. So it's got the 1613 and the full frame on the 300 there. So I've got a bit of flexibility there if I need to get out and move around. And also the light's pretty good. So yeah, hopefully I might be able to get a couple shots there. But you know, never know what else will turn up. It's one of those days really that anything could turn up, and it's not been here for a few days. So my luck's in, but it's just trying to get close to it. It's a bit of a nightmare, but we'll, you know, persevere, have a go. I'm here till it gets dark, so hopefully maybe there might be a chance of seeing some other bits and bobs a bit later on, maybe a roe deer or something. But today is bitterly cold, so may not see a great deal, but we'll certainly give it a crack and then see what happens. But it's great to be back for the first one of 2021. It's a bit of an off-the-cuff one, but I thought, you know, why not get up, get out, and have a look. So guys, I've just moved myself into a cracking location here, where the male hen harrier, which I saw yesterday, was quartering across this lovely area of heath here in a lot of the bog grass, and this is where they go to roost. So I've come here now. It's about 2:30, and harriers generally, especially hen harriers, will hunt quite when it gets quite dark. Really, marsh harriers go to roost a little bit earlier, but hen harriers will stay out probably until it's pretty dark, which is great for a bird, especially if it's a male, because you've got obviously that grey white coloration, so it kind of stands out. So I'm now set up here. This is what I'm looking at the moment. So it's just this area in here, which is absolutely superb, and this is where it goes to roost, in here. And there's actually been a marsh harrier here as well, and a shorty. So you know, I didn't see those yesterday, but I did see the hen harrier. So I'm hoping today maybe we'll get a glimpse of it, and maybe get a couple shots in the bag. I mean, it's a bird that I don't really see that often, as I said before in many of my vlogs, but it's one that I'm absolutely after this winter. I would love to get some close encounters. I'd love to get a bit of video. It's just such an awesome bird, it really is. Anyway, get quiet, get a brew on, I think, and just wait out and see what happens. So far as regarding settings, obviously with my Canon I've got many custom function settings. I got CF1, 2 and 3 as my custom function. So I've got custom function 1 set for stills. So I've got it's wide open at f4. I've got a shutter speed of about 0.002 of a second, and I'm shooting about ISO 200, so the light's pretty good. And I've also got another CF2 setting, which I've got set to slow motion, so 1080p at 120, and set that to slow-mo, so I can just quickly go to that and then get some slow motion stuff as well. And then the next setting I've got is CF3, which is my 4K at 60 video mode. So I've checked that, make sure that's good to go, so I can just quickly change if I need to do some stills and some video. So it's really handy to have your settings geared up, ready to go, so you can just quickly change from stills to video. As the light fails, obviously the ISO will be bumped up, and on the still side of things it'll only last so long before it really does get that bad. But with video, I found yesterday when I was shooting near dark that the camera was still picking out at 4K at 30, was still picking out some really good video, so definitely usable. So it's really good to have you know, all your settings ready to go really, so if anything happens split second, you're all good to react and you're not fumbling around. Because the Harrier, although it's not labouring flight, but it's quartering flight. It's relatively slow as it glides. It's quite nice to track, quite easy to track on like a Merlin or a Kestrel or something like that, or Sparrowhawk, which is going absolutely gunning it. But yeah, it's just another little tip really. It's really good to get yourself in that position where you've got all your settings good to go, so you're ready for that all important shot. Well, it's bitterly cold at the moment. There's a northerly wind blowing, and hence why I've positioned the Land Rover here side on to the wind, so it's giving me a bit of protection and stopping the lens barrel wobbling all over the place. So far I've seen quite large flocks of golden plover, which has been nice, and I saw a Merlin go through at high speed, but too far off and too quick for me to actually get that. But nice to see so far. Fingers crossed we'll as the light starts to fade a little bit, we'll hopefully get some maybe get some sightings. So the hen harrier is one of those birds really that you know, it may not necessarily turn up. It's been seen here daily, and it could be one of those days, you know, it could be hunkered down somewhere, it could have been further down on the heath, could have moved on somewhere else. You just don't know really. And the owl species, short-eared owl here, is probably unlikely to be out today. They don't like northerly, easterly winds, very cold. They generally hunker down and stay in shelter really. So probably not going to see an owl today, but you know, there's a very good chance that the hen harrier may turn up, or that marsh harrier. But you know, it's always a bit of a waiting game. I've got quite a good view here. Bit of a schoolboy today. I left my bins at home. I was making a cup of tea and then I left them on the side, but I can still use the 600 as a pair of bins, and I got a good pair of eyes, so I can keep looking out. But this is kind of like my view at the minute. As you can see there, a really vast area really, and then literally out there is obviously the Atlantic, and that's down right on the Lizard Point. So at the moment, pretty good view, all things considered. So I should be able to pick out a white grey bird flying low over the heath. So yeah, fingers crossed it'll put in an appearance. I really want to show you a hen harrier, you know, quartering and hunting. I mean, it's such a bird, it really is. I don't think there is a better bird really. Well, Montague's harrier, they're pretty cool too, but yeah, just to see one and capture one on, you know, some video and some great shots of one would be, you know, up there on my list really. You know, it is such a great bird. But you know, persevere, come here every night for a week, see what happens. So far I've had a nice lot of golden plover coming across, and I've seen a possible harrier, white bird, very far off, very low flight, could have been a seabird, couldn't be quite sure really, but it's a cracking bit of light here now. See just behind me there, beautiful bit of light coming across here, the heath, really nice. You could just imagine that moment there of a lovely bird of prey just quartering away across, nice and slow, give me plenty of chance to get a good shot and a bit of video, but also the memory really, to be honest. I mean, I saw it yesterday and it went through pretty quick, and it didn't reappear unfortunately, but that's just the nature of wildlife photography. But you know, if it did come across now, I mean, it would be superb. The light, I mean, the settings I'm using at the moment, I've got a 0.002 of a second at 400 ISO. I mean, it's pretty damn good. And that light there will only last so long, and then that's going to pretty much disappear and we'll be left in the dark. And it is really cold. It's about 2 degrees, and that wind chill is obviously a lot less. So if many of you have seen quite a few of my vlogs, and I haven't used it a lot recently, but I've got an external monitor which I attach to my 1DX Mark II with a HDMI connection, which I can then use the video and get a bigger screen. So if you look here now, as you can see there, that really is so much better than the little screen on the back. So just a little L bracket there, HDMI plugs in, and there you have it. You've got a nice big screen there. Then you can effectively do a lot better tracking. Got a little Got a little handle there which I then just guide across, and it just gives you that so much more freedom of movement. A bigger screen, see things in focus as you're panning, and gives you a great bit of video. I mean, I'm not A1 at video, but you know, with this external screen, it really is a game changer. These screens here are about 150 quid, I think. And you know, the bracket itself was relatively inexpensive, so a really good bit of kit that allows you then really just to pan a little bit easier, rather than sort of kneeling down looking at the screen. A little tiny screen, you can't always see if you got it in focus, but with this screen it really is that good. I mean, there it's just great as you're panning. You know, it really is so much better. But if you fancy having a look at that and looking at where I got it from, just below the vlog description there's a link there to all the products I use, so it'll be on there. But really good bit of kit. This external screen you've also got a little visor around the edge. It just clips on around there, which is really good if the sun's on it. Gives you that a little bit more less glare on the screen. Absolutely superb, really, and that comes with it. Really good bit of kit. And if you're doing video from a fairly good position, hide, vehicle, somewhere like this, you know, and weight's not an issue, it's a great little bit of kit to have. Batteries on the back. As I turn it round, you've got standard camera batteries just there, and they just plug in, and you just charge them up, and they're like standard batteries. But yeah, really good. As I say, if you want to have a look at that, check in my vlog description, and I'll have a link to the products there. This isn't cold by any means, you know, this is about 1-2 degrees today, but certainly in colder climates as well as this one, really, is batteries vitally important, obviously. And you know, have batteries in your breast pocket, trouser pocket, somewhere warm and accessible, and if you need to get to your batteries, you got them there ready to go, and they've obviously going to be a little bit warmer rather than stone cold straight into your camera, and it can just keep that charge a little bit longer. But my GoPro battery then was at like 45%, and it just completely cut out in the middle of a vlog. It just drained so quick, and it's probably an old battery as well, but you know, you just got to be aware that in colder climates, you know, your batteries will drain a heck of a lot faster. So I don't know if anybody else has got the Manfrotto 502 AH video head, but the moment when it's got all this mounted on top, sometimes with a balance, with a slight bit of wind, it really does sort of throw it out. If you don't keep your eye on the ball when you're away from it, and you don't tighten the tripod head up, it certainly drops down and drops back, and then you could end up, you know, tripod going over, and that's going to really upset you. So I don't know if anybody's got any experiences with this type of tripod head, or if they got any better options. I mean, I really like it. It's not that expensive. But it just seems really hard to balance, you know, fine tune it a little bit. It's good to get it all set up, ready to go. Well, it's getting to that point now where it's getting pretty dark now, and it certainly is cold. I mean, I am absolutely freezing, and still no luck as yet. But, you know, I'm going to persevere here the rest of the week. Probably come up every day, probably from about 2 o'clock, just for 2 or 3 hours, just to see if I can see the Harrier, maybe get some shots, and I will hopefully get it one day, and when that does happen, I'll be a happy man. But I don't think it's going to happen today. But still, great to be up here in the freezing cold. I've currently got a Merlin feeding just on a post. It's just come across in front of me. Looks like a lovely male Merlin. It's nearly dark at the moment, and it's great to see it, just at the end as well. Lovely. To see two Merlin though just at the end there coming in for a feed before they go to roost was fantastic. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next session.